really the key to hitting consistent higher income months is welcome back to my channel, guys, where we discuss all things entrepreneurship, business, marketing, and the digital nomad lifestyle. So today we are talking about hitting a 100K month, which is crazy to be doing a video about this because in my wildest dreams years ago, I never would have even thought I would be saying those words, but I'm doing this video for a very specific and intentional reason. One is because part of my mission through the business that I've created as a business coach, helping people start and scale their online businesses, is to empower women through entrepreneurship to create their own dream lifestyle. And part of that includes creating wealth. The second reason I'm doing this video to piggyback off of that is because money is often a very taboo topic. And I don't want it to be a taboo topic because it is empowering and it is amazing. And there are so many different things that you can do with that when you create this opportunity for yourself by creating your own business. So I'm really excited to dive into this topic today and really focus on kind of 4 of the main things when I reflected back on these higher cash and higher revenue months that were really the pivoting point and most impactful in being able to bring in sales and cash of that amount. Now, before I get any comments about this, I want to go ahead and clarify the numbers that I am talking to you about. So when I am referring to a 100K month, in the instance of this specific video, I am talking about sales. So that was not actual $100,000 of cash that went into my bank account, but during multiple of these 100K plus sales months, we also brought in over $60,000 in cash or revenue that month. So very, very close there. And they were still, while high sales, they were also still high revenue. And so I think there's a balance there, but I also want to be very transparent about that so that you're able to really see kind of the behind the scenes and what this actually looks like. Now, I also want to take note that when you hear this and you hear a 100K month, first that's sales, then we look at revenue of more like, 60 to 70, and then there's also business expenses. So anytime that you hear kind of these big flashy stories, make sure that you're looking kind of at the whole picture. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this video, to make sure that I'm being super transparent and really breaking down all of this information for you guys. Okay, so let's dive in, and it is actually not 4, it is 8 different reasons that I want to discuss with you guys today that were the most key and pivotal things to lead to these higher income and higher sales months in business. Okay, so the first thing that had the biggest impact here was having brand awareness and having an aligned offer that was actually being able to sell my audience something that they need, right? So in the most basic sense, you have to be selling an offer or a product that solves a problem that your audience does have and is the solution to that product, right? But then even beyond that, to be able to hit these like higher income and sales months, you really have to work on brand awareness. And I truly reflect on my journey and how this has played into me continuing to have higher income and sales months. So let me give you an example of this. So for me, my signature program and my signature offer is Laptop Lifestyle Bootcamp, which is a group program for new entrepreneurs that teaches you everything from A to Z about how to set up 6-figure foundations and how to run a business. Now, this is an offer that I have launched 6, 7, I don't know, something like that times just in the past year and a half. It is something that brings in over 60% of our revenue. We've had hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs go through this program, and it is very well known. Now, because I launch it constantly and because I'm always talking about it, I've built up way more brand awareness surrounding this offer than any of my other offers. But this was not by mistake. I did this very, very intentionally. So a couple examples, every single week, no matter what I am selling or doing, I have a rule for myself that a minimum of 3 times I mention Laptop Lifestyle Bootcamp throughout just my Instagram stories alone. And then I also mention it throughout the rest of my content. I'm constantly sharing client stories, client testimonials, client wins throughout that program, and other people and students in the program are constantly reposting about it. So the brand awareness of this has gotten huge, and my visibility strategies to get in front of new audiences for this and continue to build that brand awareness was a big reason that I'm able to have higher income and sales months, because this program in and of itself is one of the main sources of income that leads to those higher income and sales months. The mistake I see with people surrounding brand awareness is, one, that they get tired of talking about it. So they feel like they are talking about one of their offers or one of the things that they stand for to death. But the fact is your audience probably isn't tired of it, especially if we're talking about it from different angles and different types of content. And we have to remember that one, your audience isn't watching every single piece of your content every single day, and they need to hear something more than once for them to really let it sink in and go through this like mental journey to be ready for the point of purchase, and to really have not just awareness level that like they know it exists, but like without a shadow of a doubt, someone can say, oh yeah, Amanda Laptop Lifestyle Bootcamp, and they could give a description of what that offer is, even if they've never taken it, just from seeing all of my content. The second mistake I see here is kind of feeds off of that, is that people stay too scattered. Whether you're new or a higher level entrepreneur, a lot of people will start doing a strategy, not quite see the results that they want, and instead of kind of dissecting and assessing that, or even just sticking with it, they shift, right? So you stay very scattered, switching up different strategies and methods, rather than really pushing through and allowing that consistency, as well as assessing what works and what doesn't work within your business, so that you know what needs to change rather than just changing things for the sake of changing them. The second key point here is to plan ahead and warm your audience. So again, this is not, something that happens having, a 100K month or whatever it is. It's not something that you just wake up and say, hey, okay, great, let's sell X, Y, and Z, and bam. At least for most of us, that's not going to happen overnight where you just decide and then all of a sudden we have that high income month. Sales is all about having this partnership with marketing and actually warming your audience and taking them along a customer journey, so that when they get to the point of sale, it's a no-brainer to be able to convert, and they're actually ready to convert, right? Because they've been warmed and primed by the rest of your content over the course of weeks and maybe even months. So a lot of times we plan and strategically place content in certain different types of webinars and free trainings and all of this different stuff 2 to 3 months ahead of time before we do a live launch. We also might be warming people in different segments of our audience. So some of it's on Instagram, some of it is via our podcast and different email sequences. So you can also be nurturing people in various segments. You can nurture more people that have opted in and said, hey, I'm interested. You can nurture them more than others. Planning 2 to 3 months ahead of time also allows your team to actually help you create everything that you need to create to be most dynamic in your sales and all of your marketing and your content. And it also allows you to build relationships. So relationships are also the key to sales. And one of the biggest ways that I'm able to not just have one 100K month, but continual 100K months, is that I am constantly focusing on building relationships. And if they don't convert now, I continue to nurture the relationship and they will convert eventually. So when we say plan ahead and warm your audience, a lot of that is focused on marketing and the content that you're creating being very intentional. Another part of that is actually having a sales and a marketing plan, and even just knowing the numbers of what you need to happen. Have you mapped out how it's even possible for you to have that 50K month or 100K month? And I don't mean that in a form of doubt. I just mean, let's look at what numbers need to stack up to get to that. Does it need to happen exactly that way? No, of course not. But we do want a game plan. So really making sure that we're mapping out all of the different aspects that are going to lead to that, so that we are prepared and being very intentional. The third most impactful thing is to focus on mastery. So a lot of people stay very scattered. There's 1,000,001 different social media platforms that we can be on and things that we can be doing and selling, but really focusing on mastery is going to be super, super key to bringing in consistent higher income and sales months. Now, what I mean by this is a couple of different things. One is mastery as far as the level of depth versus going wide and thin of what do you want to be known for? What are you known for? So for example, while I do have multiple other offers that I help with, coaching and courses, Laptop Lifestyle Bootcamp is my signature, most well-known program. And so I have become known for that. And again, this wasn't on accident. It was very intentional that I choose, because every time that you show up and you talk about something, you're choosing to focus people's attention on what you're saying or directing them to, right? And that's very valuable. So when I'm a guest on a podcast or doing a live or creating a piece of content, all of those things have the opportunity to hold space for people's attention to direct them one place. And the majority of my time, I am using that grabbing of their attention to direct them to Laptop Lifestyle Bootcamp, and I start to become known for something. The second way we're looking at mastery is with your focus. So really having laser focus, not getting scattered by all these different ideas or strategies or trying to switch things up all the time, and really honing in on your focus so that you're able to really become an expert and really, really good at the thing or things that you do. But narrowing that down rather than constantly trying to create new products and offers all of the time, we have not perfected. No, nothing is ever perfect, but we have fine-tuned our Signature Offer Laptop Lifestyle Bootcamp so much, right? We have revamped all of the course material and the modules. We are constantly looking at client feedback to see how we can make this the best client experience that it can possibly be. And so we focus so much focus and energy into that offer, and that leads to more of mastery rather than just having pretty good multiple offers. The last way you want to focus on mastery is with systems. So when you are able to create rinse and repeat systems and processes within your business, it is going to allow you to be 10 times more impactful and save so much more time in the things that you do, as well as master and become better at the processes that you're going through. So this might look like how you run the program, like for me, for our program, but how you run your design process, how you run your coaching process. This might look like a launch system or process that you have. Again, we've launched Laptop Lifestyle Bootcamp so many times. We have that launch system down on repeat. Me and my team know exactly what to do, right? So it's easier to be able to spend more time and energy in marketing and all of these other places, the more systems and processes that you create. Number 4 is to listen to your audience and make sure that we're validating our offers. This is really, really important. While a lot of people in the entrepreneur space talk about messy action, including me, and I definitely vouch for messy action, in order to really have these higher income and sales months, you have to have a good product and service. You have to have a really good product or service. And so you really need to focus on listening to your audience, listening to what do they need, what are their pain points, what do they desire, 1, so we know what to create, 2, so we know how to market it. And you want to make sure that you're validating your offer that you are selling and continuing to improve the actual transformation that you are helping someone achieve, not just creating a product and creating another one and trying to look at, the income that's coming in here or there, but your brand reputation and the actual transformation and end result that you help achieve, that has to be a priority, especially to hit these higher income and sales months. Which leads me into point number 5, which is focusing on client experience and the customer journey. So this absolutely needs to be a focus to hit those higher income months, because the more that you are selling, right, we need to make sure that anytime someone comes into our world, or essentially, the top of our funnel here, that we have things in place to be able to nurture them. Because most of the time, if we're hitting higher sales and higher income months, we're either A, having much higher priced packages, which requires a higher amount of trust, or B, we are selling at a larger volume, which means we need to make sure that we're not the only one that's able to nurture all these people that are going to buy from us. So this can look like having very intentional system set up with your content, so that when they read your caption, you direct them to your stories, which directs them maybe to your website or another training somewhere. Really focusing on email marketing. Email marketing is huge. And all of the different places that someone enters, you are leading them somewhere. So for example, when you join my Facebook group, you have to enter your email and you have to tell us some information about us, which then adds you to my email list and puts you down a certain welcome sequence where we send you a lot of more useful information and trainings and things like that to get to know you better. We're able to track all of this different stuff so that we know what people are most interested in as well. So if you want to see this for yourself, you can join my Facebook group, The Laptop Lifestyle Entrepreneur. It's a great place to hang out and connect with people anyways, but you can go ahead and see those nurture emails that we get. So we are constantly, from all of these different angles, nurturing everyone that comes in. And anytime that we're leading up to a sales period or a launch, all of the content leading up to that is very strategically planned to take people along a customer journey, as well as all of our products and services. We spend extensive time focusing on the client experience. From that point of purchase, what happens? How do we alleviate that fear and make them at every single point of the experience with us say, this was the best investment yet? Number 6 is to diversify your income. So in order to hit higher sales and cash months, we want to start to diversify your income. And so this is going to mean income coming in from different sources and income coming in at different times. So the goal is that we want to start to stack our income on top of each other. A really helpful way to do this as well is with payment plans. So while payment plans do have an inherent risk, they're a great way that we're able to create almost a base layer of content of income, so that next month we're not trying to start from $0 to get up to 50, 70, 100K months, right? We have recurring revenue that's constantly coming in, and because we've also staggered it, one month when certain amounts of revenue drop off, we don't have all of our revenue dropping off ever at one single time. The last 2 points I have for you that were most impactful to hit these higher income and sales months is number 7, to sell. Now this might seem really, really simple, but when I was reflecting of what I wanted to tell you guys for this, I could not mention this, because we are constantly selling in my business. Every single day I am selling, and I truly believe that the products and services that I have are here to help and serve people literally solve a problem and create a better life for themselves, right? And so you have to make sure that you are selling constantly, and that can be from different angles. That doesn't just mean on Instagram, right? That could be in your DMs, in a conversation, in person, on Instagram, on Facebook, on your email list, right? But make sure that you are constantly selling. And the last point, number 8 for you, is consistency. So everything that I've mentioned so far, 1 through 7, if you look back at it, none of it is a point that could just be done today and create higher income or sales months. All of it are things that compound upon each other, because really the key to hitting consistent higher income months is the consistency of the actions that you are taking, of everything that I've mentioned thus far. All right, so now you've got some really good insight that you can now take and go apply into your own business to start to scale your business and really grow, and make sure that you are creating a really solid brand reputation with everything that you offer. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video if you found this really helpful. We have tons of videos coming out every single week all about entrepreneurship, business marketing, and the digital nomad lifestyle, which you can check out a couple more of our videos right here. And I will see you guys next week for another video.